Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 12th Fred Media. Excuse my voice, I've been a little bit under the weather lately, but we are here once again with some of my past work because I do want to get more content out to you guys. So this is also from a couple of years back, WWE's Roman Reigns. We were lucky enough to have a couple of minutes to interview him prior to one of their local shows here in Corpus Christi when they were doing their tours. This is pre-COVID. This is actually back around probably 2016, 17, or 18, somewhere in there. I'd have to double check. Um, had interviewed a couple of WWE superstars back then. Damian Sandow was one of those. There are a couple of more, I think. I'd have to go back and check. And again, this was primarily for radio and print, so there is no video. This was not an in-person interview. WWE actually granted most of the interviews that I have over the phone because, of course, they've got a busy tour schedule. So this was over the phone. They were only able to give us 7 minutes, which is why it's kind of short. And, it was also kind of impromptu. When it comes to working with a bigger company like that, sometimes you got to take what they can give you, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we're happy to have anything we can from them. It was a good interview. Roman, of course, was a great guy, was very courteous with us. Thank him again for giving us the time that we got. Interesting story. So I was actually teaching English/journalism at this point in my career, and the only time slot they could give me for the interview was in the middle of the school day. You know, kind of hard to work with that, but we made it happen. And actually what we did is we scheduled it for my journalism class. So that kind of worked out. It worked with the lesson. What was hilarious and makes the story great is it didn't have a lot of kids. I'd say maybe 10 kids max. So they got to see me do the interview, of course, recorded it from my phone to my computer, etc. They're in class. They were very well behaved. Thank them for that. But I had one young lady who generally took a nap in my class. So she took her nap, woke up, and everyone's like, "Oh, you missed it. You missed it. Jackie, you missed it." What? What did I miss? He interviewed one of the guys from WWE just a second ago. He was on the phone with him. She's like, "Who did you interview?" Said, "Oh, Roman Reigns." And her mouth dropped. It's like, "Let me guess, you're a fan." She said, "Oh my God, sir. Are you joking?" I said, "No, we just interviewed Roman Reigns." And everyone's like, "Yes, he really did." I played back the interview for her. And she is just in stunned amazement. Says, "Sir, you don't understand. That's my future husband. I'm going to marry him someday." She was so mad at herself for missing the interview and mad at us for not waking her, but at the same time, we didn't know she was a fan. But moral of the story is, don't sleep through Mr. Flotus's class because you will miss something. But that's, like I said, back when I was doing more print and radio. Of course, if it had been live and in person, that would have been great, which is primarily what we do now. For example, my interviews with Brina Palencia, interviews with Clinton Farron, who I will post eventually on here, as well as Johnny Gilbert. Those have all been live and in person, which is why we switched over to video, and we hope to have more in the future. But enough with that. I'm going to get to the interview. So here we are with Roman Reigns of the WWE. Roman, how are you doing today?
Doing good. How you doing, brother?
Doing pretty good, man. And of course, welcome back. Not yet, but we'll be welcoming you back to Corpus Christi area, I believe on the 22nd for SmackDown. This not being your first time, how have you enjoyed Corpus Christi so far?
I love Corpus. I have a couple of friends, that I went to high school with actually that live there now. But yeah, it's part of the Gulf Coast. I love it down there. I'm from Pensacola, Florida, so we enjoy the same type of beach, the same water. I'm looking forward to going down there. We have a great wrestling tradition down there in Corpus, but it's always nice to be right there on the water.
Definitely. Would you say it's hotter over in Pensacola or here in Texas?
Probably about the same, I would imagine. Maybe Texas would have it, but either way, it's down there in the south at the bottom of the map, so it's hot, no doubt.
Now, Roman, I know we only have a little bit of time, so let me ask you. Of course, I know that prior to wrestling, you spent a couple of years playing football. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Well, I understand a stint for a couple of teams. What would you say was your primary position?
I played D tackle was the main spot. I played a little bit of D end, but for the most part, I did most of my work at D tackle. I played at Georgia Tech for 4 years, so I plugged in a good bit of time down there in the trenches.
Would you say any of those football moves, techniques, etc., have had an impact on your wrestling style?
Oh, I think so. My finisher is spears, so it's essentially an open field tackle. I've been I've been tackling people since I was 7 years old. That's when I started playing football. So it was kind of second nature for me, and it's worked out good. So the only thing I need to do left now is to win a WWE championship with it.
Well, hopefully so in the near future. I mean, of course, there's a legacy, a lineage. Who would you say you looked up to in that line of wrestlers there?
All my family members. I have a deep respect, especially now as someone who's seen it through his own eyes and been on the road and seen all the struggles and the obstacles it takes to make each town and all the travel and being away from your family. So every single one of my family members, all the way down, all the way from High Chief Peter Maivia, all the way to myself, and multiple cousins who are training now, and you may see in the near future. I look up to all of those guys and what they did. We're very blessed as a family, and I'm just really looking forward to continuing this legacy going and writing my own chapter in this great book that we have as a family.
That sounds great. Let me ask you, speaking to that, not only the wrestlers in your family that came before, but in general, if you could have one match with any superstar, past or present, what would you go for?
That's a tough question. There's so many great ones. But I think Undertaker probably. I think that's got to be. He's got to be high up on anybody's list there.
Definitely so.
Sure.
Definitely so. And of course, as you're going to be coming back to Corpus Christi, this is more of a, I guess you could say, candid sort of question that I have here for you. Last time that WWE was in town, it was for the first Monday Night Raw of the year. I believe they did the John Cena Appreciation Night that night. With that in mind, on your entrance to the ring, you may or may not have noticed a fan sign that read Purple Reigns. I just wanted to throw in fun fact, that was actually me there. I was there as a spectator that night and couldn't help but photobomb you.
Oh. Well, then I got to return the favor. You photobomb me?
Yes, you and Paige.
Photobomb you, pal.
I would love that. You do that.
You watch your back, all right?
Yes, sir.
We're going to know.
Any strategy going up against the Wyatts?
Yeah, let's knock them down once. We've been running into brick walls these past few weeks, but that's just the type of guys me and Ambrose are. We don't like to take no for an answer. That we like to do our own thing on our own time, and I think we kind of both have it stuck in our head. We're going to knock that big lug over. We tried pretty much everything at this point, and nothing took them off the speed. But we're gonna chop that tree down. We're gonna chop that tree down, and we're gonna get out of the swamp. That's the goal.
And that sounds good. We have time just really for one more question. So I got to ask, since you're in Texas and you and Ambrose always mention it, after the match, winner buys the beers. What do you think you'll be drinking down there in Corpus Christi?
Oh, a nice cold one. We're dealing with the heat, so a nice cold beer would probably be the best choice. Knock out a good bit of sweat down there in that arena and refresh ourselves, hopefully, to a victory toast.
All right. Well, we thank you very much for your time today, Roman. We appreciate it and look forward to seeing the show.
All right, brother. Thanks, Jacob.
You're very welcome.
Makes no sense to fall. Makes no sense at all.